Late last year, I lost 20 pounds with the vast majority of it coming from body fat. Most weight loss journeys result in a lot less body fat loss and a lot more muscle mass loss, which that scenario is not good. That results in a slower metabolism, an easier time gaining weight, and also negative health outcomes down the line. So whenever we're focused on losing weight, whether it be 20 pounds, 10 pounds or more, the goal should be to primarily lose body fat and maintain muscle mass. And there are some really crucial things I learned throughout my whole body recomposition journey of losing body fat while keeping muscle mass. These were important not just for achieving my results, but maintaining them and making the process enjoyable. So today I wanted to share my 5 pieces of very honest advice for anybody who's looking to lose about 20 pounds of body fat. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance, and today's video is sponsored by Element. More on them in a bit. Okay, the first really honest piece of advice is that you will need to make change. Now, change doesn't mean that you have to change everything about what you're eating. It also does not mean to be extremely restrictive. In fact, as I've talked about time and time again, just restricting your intake can lead to more muscle loss and less body fat loss. But there are certain foods that are just simply addictive. They bypass our normal satiety cues. They don't tell our brain that we're full and satisfied, and therefore it causes us to eat well beyond our body's needs. And there's even research behind how certain foods, especially those hyper palatable, ultra processed carbs and fats, have addictive like qualities. So it's not just a matter of discipline. We need to approach this in the right way and make a few changes so that we aren't stuck in this addictive spiral. So swapping out some of those addictive foods for the foods that actually make you feel full and satisfied is one of the biggest first steps. Because although it probably doesn't seem possible, there are literally foods that when you eat them, tell your brain you're full, you're satisfied, you don't need to eat. They raise satiety hormones called peptide YY and CCK. And these hormones are so strong that it literally tells your brain you don't need to keep eating. And great news, these foods also help to keep you healthier too. They support the muscle, bones, heart, and brain. They're nutrient-dense foods that make you feel more energized. And honestly, they're usually some of the best tasting foods you could possibly eat. Like throughout my whole postpartum weight loss journey, I was making things like French toast, although made with the right types of ingredients, as well as cauliflower nachos and loaded up tacos with guacamole. Like you could make foods that are delicious, that also support your goals, but don't cause you to go in that addictive spiral. It just does take a little bit of change to do that. Which if you want more of the actual nutrition breakdown of how you go about this, I shared my whole process with this video right here. Okay, the second piece of advice or just thing to consider is that it will be uncomfortable at first, or it probably will be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to eating these more ultra processed addictive like foods, because stopping any type of addiction is going to be uncomfortable. Some people might get headaches or feel lower energy or feel a little bit nauseous. But good news here as well is that this is also short-lived. From my experience working with clients or the entire community of over 20,000 people in our private Facebook group, this tends to last anywhere between 0 days, some people don't experience it at all, or maybe 3 days. Especially when you're replacing those foods with the foods that help to support your goals, that tends to make this uncomfortable phase a lot shorter, because often those more addictive foods cause really big spikes and falls in our blood sugar levels, and it's that crash that can cause those feelings of headache and nausea. So when we're not continuously eating those foods, it can cause that temporarily low dip, making you feel more nauseous, have some headaches, or just overall not feel great. But then as we eat the foods that are blood sugar stabilizing, it helps to make us feel so much better than we did before. And something I found that can especially help with that is making sure you're properly hydrated and having electrolytes, like with today's sponsor, Element. Element is an amazing electrolyte company that was specifically created with intermittent fasting, whole food eating, and athletes in mind. It actually contains the sodium, magnesium, and potassium to help replace lost electrolytes, all without having any sugar. So especially when you're looking to balance out blood sugar levels, not adding more sugar into the mix is really important. I've been using Element for about 3 years now. I have at least 1 packet every single day, and I just feel so much more hydrated, so much better when I'm using Element. And their flavors are amazing. Their grapefruit salt especially is fantastic. In fact, I've had some clients in the past who didn't love drinking water, but they found it so much easier when they had their Element along with it. Now, my favorite is grapefruit, but Element comes in a ton of different flavors like raspberry, citrus, and orange. And right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single-serve packets free with any Element order. It's a great way to test out all 8 flavors, so you can get yours at drinkelement.com/autumn. It is only available through my link, so make sure to check out drinklmnt.com/autumn. The link is also in the description down below. Okay, the third really important piece of advice is to learn the science of satiety. Now, satiety is the concept of feeling full and satisfied after your meals. This is a foreign concept to anybody who's been on a weight loss journey before. But when you can tap into this really powerful tool, it makes achieving and maintaining your weight loss goals almost effortless. Because when you're not hungry, you're not going to be getting as many cravings either. And it's not like a bunch of woo-woo magic or discipline, it is true science. There are just certain foods that when we eat enough of them raise our satiety hormones and tell our brain we're full and satisfied. This in turn helps us shut off our cravings for certain foods as well. And not all foods are created equal when it comes to this. It's not just like eating a certain amount of food in general, but eating the right types of a certain amount of food. Specifically protein being the most important, but also fiber and fat are key. But a lot of people miss this mark even if they think they understand the science behind satiety because they think they need to feel constantly hungry in order to lose weight. And all I can say in regards to that fear is to talk to people who have already done it. So if you're a part of my Facebook group, which is a free resource, there are a lot of people who are using this type of protocol and achieving and maintaining great results. So chatting with people who have experienced those results and can tell you about what that's like can also just help to break that mental barrier too, which we will get into that a little bit more with tip number 5. But the next one, number 4, you're going to want to use the scale, but don't. The scale gives you your total mass. It does not tell you if you're losing body fat. And remember what we talked about in the beginning, we want to lose body fat, not muscle. When we lose muscle, we might lose weight initially, but eventually it's going to cause a slower metabolism and make it so much easier to regain that weight. Having lower muscle mass also makes it so that you're more carb sensitive, which means you can't eat as many starches or any starches at all without gaining weight. Whereas when you can maintain that muscle, you have a lot more flexibility with the types and amounts of food that you can eat. So you know the importance of losing body fat, but a typical scale does not tell you if you've done that. It just tells you if you've lost overall weight. Now it's very easy to lose a lot of muscle, to lose fat as well as bone during a weight loss process, and even water for that matter. A scale cannot differentiate between any of those. So you want to make sure that you're using the right type of measurements to keep track of accurate progress. Otherwise, you could be accidentally under eating a lot and thinking you're on the right track because you've gone down in weight on the scale, when in reality, you've lost a lot of muscle. So with my clients, I usually recommend either just simple measurement with a tape measure using the InBody, which is my personal favorite, or a DEXA. Tape measure is very simple. You just literally take measurements using a flexible tape measure around various parts of your body. InBody is kind of like a scale, but it does measure your body fat as well as muscle mass. But the DEXA is the most accurate, although it is very time consuming and very expensive, which is why I like the first two options the best. Non-scale victories are also very important to keep track of because this will give you an idea if you are headed in the right direction. Because when you lose body fat and not muscle, you're going to feel more energized. You're also likely going to feel stronger and overall just better. When we lose weight while losing muscle, it tends to result in more weakness, lower energy levels. It also can lead to hormone imbalances, hair loss, low libido, all of those things. So keeping track of these various non-scale factors can also give you an idea if you're on the right track. Okay, number 5 is probably the most important, and it's that you need someone in your corner. Even if you feel better, even if you're enjoying your food, it's still going to require some change from your previous habits. And you're going to need somebody in your corner that can help you with the inevitable ups and downs. Now, ideally, this would be someone in your personal life. It might be your husband, your wife, your best friend, your mom, your dad, sibling, whatever. This is someone who maybe could be on the same journey as you, could be making the same changes that you could talk to and can relate, which just makes the experience so much easier. And you also don't feel alone in the process. But if you don't have that, finding any type of group of like-minded people can also be really helpful. So for some people, this could be like joining a local gym, or maybe you have a personal trainer. But if not, online groups are also amazing. I mentioned earlier our private Facebook group, which is a free resource, and there's over 20,000 members in there, all on the same journey, all helping one another along throughout this process. Whether you're having a great day or maybe you're struggling, just going to somebody and sharing those experiences can just help to make the journey so much easier. Now, if you want to check out exactly what I did to help me lose 20 pounds, with the vast majority of that coming from body fat, you can find that with this video right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love this science-backed information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.